So did you see it? Did you hear it? Oh, even Newsom can't hide this, and we got you. What if a sitting governor just gave a speech that sounded more like a war cry than a peace offering? That's exactly what Gavin Newsom just did. And the fallout has already hit the streets across this nation. But did you see it? Because if you missed it, you missed everything. And you won't be prepared for what's coming next. You didn't think for a moment we wouldn't cover this, did you? Governor Newsom's address to California starts with the word I have come to deplore more than any other word: democracy. At a crossroads. The great republic of the United States of America. Democrats can't seem to get that point. But I digress, because the best part about the speech, besides the fact, well, listen in here for a moment.
All right, this is a Fox News alert. Governor Newsom just texted me and was asking me whether or not we will be taking some of his press conference at the bottom of the hour, so that'll be about 3 minutes from right now.
That's right, Newsom had to beg people to air his speech. It was that important, but it was more than what it appears. But what happens when he tries to go live?
All right, I'm talking to my control room, and they're telling me that there's no audio available.
Okay, we are working on the audio. Not sure if that's on the governor's end, but we're working to get that production up and running.
But nobody needed to listen in. But maybe it's good that America got to see it. Maybe it's great that America got to hear it. Because if you didn't see it, you missed what it actually was. I could sum this speech up by the very last few seconds. 8 minutes 32 seconds into the speech of an 8-minute 39-second speech. And this is truly all anyone needed to hear.
Your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
So I'll take everything you said before that, and don't worry, we're going to go through it. The important parts, and you won't be hearing from Newsom, because if you're like me, it's like listening to nails on a chalkboard, but we'll go through it anyway. And I'll read it to you. And the implications of what just occurred, well, they're already being felt across the nation. Folks, you are being gaslit. You are being scammed. You are being set up. And I'll explain why. As soon as I ask a favor, this channel is exploded because of you. Thank you. Those of you new here, I hope you'll subscribe. We have a different style of presenting the news. Just like you talk to your buddies at a restaurant, at a bar, maybe at home, maybe at work. That's how we do things here. News very black and white. This is RestrictedRepublic.com. Lisa Haven and I put it together for you. We have a public platform. We have a private platform. If you're here on the public, I want you to subscribe now, please. Especially if you like what I'm bringing you. It assures that I can continue to bring it to you. Those of you who have joined as members, thank you for your support. It truly keeps the lights and cameras on. The super thanks is just the icing on the cake. But those of you who've gone to Restricted Republic, our unfiltered, uncensored news platform, you think it's great here, you should hear what we present over there. We created it for a reason, because certain people decide that, there's messages that they don't prefer. Well, we prefer the messages that make a difference to you, we the people of the great republic of the United States of America. And if I hear the word democracy one more time, so please get to RestrictedRepublic.com right now. And now we'll move back into this broadcast. Full transcript of Governor Gavin Newsom's speech. I told you you're not going to hear from him, but we're going to go through a few things real quick. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement. Hard stop. You're no stranger to immigration enforcement. I don't know if you've seen the unauthorized immigrants by state. California at 1.9 million. Of the 10.5 million total projected in the United States, that number has actually changed higher now. Trump's trying to take care of it. So Gavin, First lie, you are a stranger. 2, as what you stated, immigration enforcement. Hard stop again. But this is so easy to do. Gavin Newsom makes it so damn easy. He goes on. In response to this immigration enforcement of President Trump, Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. With some exceptions, they were successful. Case in point.
We're the security guard.
Holy cow, they're throwing bricks at the police.
In turn, the state of California and the city and the county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. With some exceptions, they were successful. So much for that idea, huh, Gavin? As a matter of fact, it was so bad that even the robots left. That's right, passed by an army of Waymos in LA. Now those are more than likely being driven by humans. It was just an analogy. But their departing LA service has been stopped because Gavin's done such a good job of keeping the peace. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets because someone had to reinforce your law enforcement officers so they could do their job, Gavin, because you have done a piss-poor job of quelling the violence. Based on the very last part of your speech, because you gave this whole diatribe to everyone in the nation, preaching to everyone about how bad President Trump is, orange man bad, but then at the end, what did you say? Don't stop. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed the combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. Not the amount or lack of immigration enforcement that you had done years prior to this. No, now it's President Trump's fault. That's when the downward spiral began. No, it began a long time ago. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose. Oh. This was a speech to the nation, not just a speech to California. This is a rallying cry coming from Gavin Newsom, who stated there was no call from President Trump, not even a voicemail. Remember this. You're being gaslit. You're being lied to.
When is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
A day ago. Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last night we gave him a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now.
And President Trump is right. June 10th, 10:12 a.m. Gavin Newsom, there was no call, not even a voicemail. John Roberts, coming out of Fox News. President Trump just contacted me from Air Force One to say this. First call was not picked up. Second call, Gavin picked up. We spoke for 16 minutes. You don't believe me, President Trump says? Okay. Here's my call log to Gavin Newsom with the phone call on June 7th. For those of you that said maybe it happened afterwards, no. June 7th, outgoing call, 16 minutes. So the man speaking to the nation, Gavin Newsom, just lied. Trump called him on it. So what else that he's stating is a lie? If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held accountable. That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated, full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested. I don't know if you've watched the footage. I don't think 220 people is a flash in a pan. Now you got a lot more work to do, don't you? That's just weakness, he calls out President Trump again. And if you notice, he doesn't use President Trump. He says Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. You see, if you didn't see it, You can't get the full concept of what this man's doing. California will keep fighting. There it is again. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all our people, including in the courts. I got to make a quick correction there. Yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to President Trump's reckless deployment of American troops, and that legal challenge of Gavin Newsom suing President Trump, asking for a restraining order, that it must be stopped immediately. Well, that lost in court. Judge Breyer declines California's request for immediate restraining order. But, we'll talk on Thursday. If some of us can be snatched off the street without a warrant, you like how they do this, right? Because I showed you the evidence of exactly what Tom Homan and the team are doing. These are folks, in many cases, that were already convicted of a crime, deported, came back, and committed another crime. This is what tripped off the whole saga. Based only on suspicion or skin color. You see there? Ooh, throw out the racist card again. Because this is what Democrats do. Gavin Newsom pretends not to enjoy any of this, but in all reality, is he using it for his next presidential run? Because that was a speech to ignite chaos. We're not done yet. Authoritarian regimes, you see it's all the same talking points. This might as well be the red pulpit speech all over again. Biden 2.0 is speaking to you. By targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but I, Gavin Newsom, will represent you. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. Well, Gavin, you have no idea what control is. Look at how you're running your state. And by the way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence. Lawlessness, again, the man with the most illegal immigrants in his state, in the nation, is calling someone else lawless. What more evidence do we need than January 6th? Let's throw it a January 6th talking point too. You see, this was designed as a call to action. Nothing more and nothing less. I, Gavin Newsom, have decided that I will be the figurehead of the resistance. I was made the example of first, so I, in turn, will retaliate. I ask everyone, take time, reflect on this perilous moment. A president who wants to be bound by no law or constitution. Actually, President Trump is enforcing law. He is enforcing the Constitution, and Democrats are fighting him at every turn, and the courts are fighting him at every turn. He is not the lawless one. Perpetuating a unified assault on American tradition.
If there's an insurrection, I would certainly invoke it. We'll see. But I can tell you last night was terrible. The night before that was terrible. We have, as you've seen, it was on most of your networks, people with big, heavy hammers pounding the concrete and pounding curbs, pounding it, breaking up and handing these big chunks of concrete to people. And they were taking that concrete, going up on bridges and dropping it into the roof of a car. They were throwing it at our police. They were throwing it at our soldiers that are there. And we got it stopped, and we have them in custody right now. Look, if we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire, and we have it in great shape. I'm not playing around.
How will you determine whether or not there is an insurrection?
Well, you'll take a look at what's happening. I mean, I could tell you there were certain areas of Los Angeles that you could have called it an insurrection. It was terrible. But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get.
Oh, he is so spot on. I'm going to conclude with that and prove that argument out even more than I already have. And it's showing as evidence is what's happening now in Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta, New York. Oh, I can continue to go. This is a president who in just over 140 days has fired government watchdogs. Yes. That could hold him accountable. No, they weren't holding anyone accountable. That's why they're gone. Accountable for corruption and fraud. In other words, I, Gavin Newsom, would like that corruption and fraud to continue. by rehiring those watchdogs who were allowing for corruption and fraud. But I digress. He declared a war on culture. Who were the ones who ripped down statues, renamed military bases, which Trump has now reversed, destroying any American history whatsoever, rewriting history? It wasn't President Trump. It was the Democrats. Keep all this in mind as we rip apart this speech. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. No, you were the ones who got rid of the databases because you could have been implicated in several crimes. And now Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi are working to recover whatever data they can to put together the pieces that will point Americans to who is actually guilty, who was actually lawless. He delegitimized news organization, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. He delegitimized illegitimate news sources, the same news sources that have admitted to you that they really kind of missed it on Biden. I think it was Molly Hemingway. Yeah, I do have her clip. Thank goodness, because she says it far better than I ever could.
The New York Times is telling people, do not believe your lying eyes. Believe us, the people who spread the Russia collusion hoax, who spread conspiracy theories about Brett Kavanaugh. Believe us when we tell you that what you see on video from first-hand accounts isn't real. And as you point out, this is just weeks after they've all said, oh, we did such a bad job with Joe Biden when we said that what you saw with your own eyes was a cheap fake.
It's an amazing statement and so accurate, and that is the ultimate definition of gaslighting. And then Newsom jumps on the air. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. Oh, there it is. There's the transition point I was getting to. This isn't just about Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in the nation. This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Now you have your chaos cry. Everyone guard up. Democracy is next. There he goes again. But that wasn't enough. Democracy, again, is under assault right before our eyes. This moment we have feared, the moment we have feared, has arrived. So what say you? Was this speech a rallying cry, a call to chaos? Or was it meant to quell violence, as Gavin Newsom would like you to believe, to control the executive branch? Put it in the comments below. Chaos or control? Chaos or control? Let's just make it a one-word answer. Democracy is under assault right before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project, 3 co-equal branches of independent government. But I, Gavin Newsom, will create a stronger government, a government in my vision, a government that will run as the state of California runs, as LA was run, with illegal immigrants. Welcome. Come through the borders, rip down the border crossings. Everyone is welcome. Is that the government you want? If you do, man, you and I got to have a one-on-one chat. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. Okay. The Founding Fathers didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. Don't worry, this is the end. It's time, not the end of the broadcast. We're going to do one other little snippet here. We're going to cover. Again, you heard Donald Trump say it. I'm going to play his clip. Something else going on here. The Founding Fathers didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. It's time for us all to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy. See how I love that word? It literally cuts at my soul every time I hear it. The most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is the office of citizen. It's called We the People, Gavin. So if you want to run for president, you should watch terminology a little bit, just so you know. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully, which would be a great statement to end on. But he doesn't end on that statement. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear. But I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear. You are the antidote to the fear. Only you can fix this. Now the rallying cry comes again. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence. He wants you to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him. So you can take everything you said in your speech prior and you can shred it up, because your conclusion is your summation of what you're actually calling for. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, do it peacefully, but don't give in to them. You are the antidote. And so,
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did. I mean, the people, whether it's Lisa Monaco or whoever operated the auto pen, these are criminals. The people are criminals that allowed these criminals into our country. And I don't think that Biden knew what the hell he was doing. I don't think he even knew about it. But when they opened up our borders for the whole world to come in, yeah, we're going to get them out. We're getting them out. We're starting to get acknowledgement from the courts that, you know, there's a system. They come in without courts and they go out, they want trials and everything else. I think that's starting to work out now. Judges are starting to see what a terrible situation it is. Many of those people that you saw on television last night are criminals that were allowed into our country by Biden, and they want to stay, and we don't want them. And they come from jails, and they come from mental institutions, and they come from all over the world, not just South America. And we're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have.
Now I reframed it in because this is the most important. You heard them say, we're not going to let them stay. I can inform, I almost jumped into it there. Because Trump, he doesn't back down from Governor Newsom. No, he doubles down.
All over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here. We did a great job.
That is exactly what you do. You punch back twice as hard. You punch me, I punch you twice as hard. Plain and simple. You punch me, I'll hit you twice as hard. You're not going to put me into a state of fear, and I won't back down.
I mean, it's, again, sober and serious moment. Meanwhile, can I just add, and this is why I told the president, just get it over with. Arrest me. Move on. If you need some head to scalp, do it with me, but stop messing with these kids.
You see, that's what Gavin Newsom wants. He wants a public arrest because the imagery, the power of that image can catapult him into the office he truly wants of president. You see, it's all a ploy. It's all a gaslighting. It is meant and designed to do one thing. Gavin Newsom all but admits it. And people are blind to this. But unfortunately, he got what he asked for. ICE prepares full assault on 5 Democrat cities as LA goes into lockdown amid immigration riots. June 11th, just yesterday, published on Daily Mail. Donald Trump is set to deploy ICE tactical units to 5 Democrat-run cities amid the riots in Los Angeles. How do they know that? Who gave them that information? Who's informing ahead of time so that they can prepare? The military-style units are set to storm New York City, Seattle, Chicago, Philadelphia, rumors of Phoenix, Northern Virginia, MSNBC reported. Gaslighting Central. 4 of those 5 are heavily blue cities, while Northern Virginia contains the Democrat enclave of Alexandria. And so, what did they get? As immigration raids continue, ICE protests spread from coast to coast. There you go. That was a show of respect, huh? By the way, that was in Nebraska. ICE conducts largest workplace enforcement operation in Nebraska since President Trump took office. Dallas, anti-ICE protests turn tense as crowds take to the streets. Atlanta.
Thousands gathered to rally outside the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Field Office.
Protesters clash with police as ICE raids surge across Phoenix metropolitan area. Federal agents targeting 3,000 daily arrests. Protest against ICE in New York City turned violent, ends with dozens of arrests.
Violent clashes between protesters and the NYPD erupted in Lower Manhattan Tuesday night. Hours earlier, thousands gathered in Foley Square, rallying against the recent federal immigration raids.
It appears Democrats and Gavin are getting what they wanted. They're getting the spectacle. Cars plow through Chicago protests as thousands rally in solidarity with LA anti-ICE demonstrations. Anti-ICE protest in Philadelphia leads to 15 arrests, 2 officers injured. But how is this happening? How is it being so quickly coordinated? Trump even calling it out. These seem to be professionals here. Lefty nonprofits are openly fueling LA riots by handing out ICE protective gear. You need the evidence. The New York Post gave it to you. Look at a nifty little backpack. ICE PPE kits. Street resistance, how to stay safe from the police. The masks I've shown you. The cinder blocks I've shown you. The full PPE kits of everything you need to be, well, a responsible protester. We're passing out PPE kits if you need them. Holla. At Operation Healthy Hearts, they are preparing for the exact event they have been waiting for, in our humble opinion. Newsom's speech wasn't a misstep. It's a strategy. It wasn't calming. It was inciting. His real message? Resist President Trump, ignore the law, and protect the illegal networks that fund their politics. Hard stop. What did Gavin Newsom's speech mean to you? I can't wait to see in the comments. Let's drive discourse, because we all are about to be put in harm's way. But unfortunately for them, none of us will stand down. We will continue to inform in the actual black and white nature you deserve, not the gaslighting the mainstream media gives you. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.